Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So good afternoon, one and all present in the meeting. Today, I'm going to give the brief introduction on Java programming, some hands-on practicals on the basics concepts of Java programming. So let's begin with the core concepts of Java programming. So for this Java programming, Java is basically an object-oriented programming which follows the concept of classes and object approach. And for this Java programming, the book which you can refer is Java Complete Reference. And the second good book is Java Black Book. So these are the two references which you can refer for the basic core Java programming concepts. So let's start with the actual contents. Many of you might be thinking that Java is the acronym for something, but it is not an acronym. It is just the name which is given for the one of the language which is based on objects. Firstly, the Java programming was developed by James Goslings in the year 1995, and since then it has been evolved in different versions. So the starting version is JDK, Java Development Kit, which was known as Alpha and Beta, and since then the number of versions are evolved. And the Java is basically the pure object-oriented programming. Now, let me tell you what is mean by pure object-oriented programming and how it is different from object-oriented programming, where the example of object-oriented programming is C++. In case of C++, many of you might be knowing what is mean by C++, where there is also the concept of classes, and the values or the behavior can be defined by using different number of methods. But the thing is, in case of C++, even if you do not write any class, if you write a simple C++ program, which is having the extension .cpp, it becomes a C++ class, which is not the case with Java programming. In case of Java programming, everything is in terms of class and object. That's why the Java is called as a pure object-oriented programming language. So what are the features of Java programming? It is simple to write. It is based on object. So it is object-oriented, platform independent. You are supposed to write the Java code only once, and you can execute the program on any operating system. Only thing is that you require a Java virtual machine, that is JVM interpreter. Secure, the various security algorithms are implemented inbuilt in JVM. That's why it is secure. It is robust. The direct memory access is not there because the pointer concept is not there in Java programming. That's why it is robust. Portable, you can write the program, create a class file, and you can get that class file from one type of operating system to other, and you can execute. That's why it is portable. Dynamic feature is implemented in Java programming by dynamic memory allocation. Then along with compiled, it is interpreted also. So Java is the language which is compiled as well as interpreted. High performance, as the different number of applications can be executed, can be implemented using Java by making use of the multi-threading concept, by making use of different GUI based applications. So it gives the high performance. Then the different number of distributed applications on distributed operating system can be implemented. That's why it is the distributed programming language. So these are some of the features which I have listed over here. So if you know these syntaxes of C++, then it is very easy to implement Java program. So as I told you, it is fully object oriented, or it is purely object oriented programming language. Now, why this is purely object oriented? See, in case of C++, if I say, just if I write, or let me give an example. So if I say like this, suppose if I say int main integer a, b, and if I just write C out a plus b, and if I save this program using .cpp extension, this becomes your C program, where we haven't written any class or we haven't accessed the variables a and b using an object. So, but in case of Java programming language, the variable declaration, the access to the variables, calling the functions, everything is a part of class. That's why it is called as a fully object oriented program. So as it is object oriented, these are the main features which are observed in the Java programming language. The concept of object, which is the real-time entity, which is existing, class, which indicates which has the number of attributes and the behavior of those attributes in the real world, which can be accessed by using an object. Concept of reusability, which is called as inheritance. Representing a single entity in multiple forms, which is called as a polymorphism. Abstraction, giving only the really required contents and hiding the details is called as abstraction. And encapsulation, combining the attributes and behavior as a part of single entity is called as encapsulation, where encapsulation is implemented in case of Java by using the concept of class. So these features are same that of the C++. Platform independent, as I told you, you need to write the program once and you can run anywhere on any operating system, because the program which you are going to write, that will be converted into a byte code, that is .class file. And as long as you are having the Java virtual machine on a particular operating system, you can execute the program anywhere. So why it is secured? No explicit pointers are there in Java programming language. So Java programs are going to execute on Java virtual machine, or it is also called as a JVM. There is a class loader, which is going to add the more security features, which is going to verify the byte code. And if there is any problem, then the security manager, by making use of secure socket layer, that is SSL, and by making use of cryptographic algorithm, will check whether it is giving any harmful actions to the memory. So that's why it is more secured. Robust. Robust meaning it is strong. Why? It is having the exception handling concept, runtime exception, its concept is implemented. The type checking, it is strong typely checked language as compared to C++. And if there is unreferenced memory because of some object, then it is automatically collected and it will be given back to the operating system. And that particular feature is called as a automatic garbage collection. And this is happening, this is going to be conducted, or this is going to be done by Java virtual machine. So that's why this is robust. In case of C++, if you allocate the memory dynamically, then the explicit deallocation need to be done by making use of delete operator. Where in case of Java programming, the unreferenced memory will be automatically deleted, or it is garbage collected by JVM. That's why this is robust. Architectural neutral. In case of C++ program, based on the type of architecture, either it is 32-bit or it is 64-bit machine, the different type of data requires the different type of memory allocation. Either it is 2 bytes, 4 bytes, 6 bytes, 8 bytes. But in case of Java, that kind of memory allocation is not required. That's why this is called as an architectural neutral, portable. As long as you are having a .class file, you can execute the program on any type of operating system. Just the thing is that you require a JVM. Then distributed by using the concept of remote machine interface and EGB, the distributed applications you can create and you can host on the different machines which are located apart from each other, which are remotely located. That's why it is called as a distributed. Multi-threading, a big application or the big programs, you can divide into different subtasks, and those subtasks you can give to the number of threads, and those threads can be simultaneously executed to give a collective output within a small amount of time. So this multi-threading feature is introduced in Java as an object-oriented approach, which was not there in C++. So these are some of the applications you might be knowing. Number of mobile applications are developed using Java. Then the different Android operating system applications, or your even Android OS is implemented using Java programming. Mobile games are implemented using Java programming. Web applications like the different Google applications, Google Doc, it is implemented using Java. So there are number of applications which are present or which are implemented using Java. So the applications which I have listed on the slide are a few of them. So C++, we'll take a quick overview. What is the difference between C++ and Java? Why the Java programming is invented if we were having one of the object-oriented programming, that is C++. C++ is platform independent. Syntaxes are quite restricted based on the operating system, which is not the case with Java programming. Then multiple the operator overloading, which is a little bit ambiguous for implementation, was there in case of C++. And in case of Java, the operator overloading concept is not there. C++ is only a compiled language, wherein Java is compiler plus interpreter both. Then in case of C++, the structure and union, these are the two different user-defined data types were there. In case of Java, it is not there. C++, in case of C++, the thread concept is not there, which was introduced in Java programming. So these are some of the typical differences between C++ and Java. And one more thing, that Java is the purely object-oriented or fully object-oriented programming language. So we'll directly go to the different aspects or the different concepts from Java programming language. So the Java file, which we are going to save as .java, this is called as a source code. Then it will be given to the compiler, that is JavaC compiler, which is going to create a .class file, or it is also called as a bytecode. This bytecode will then be given to a Java virtual machine, wherein it will be interpreted and it will be checked for the security purpose by the security manager of JVM. And then finally, we are going to get an output. So this is the complete life cycle of a Java program, starting from writing the program until you get the output. So JVM, there is a class loader, or this is a machine where actual execution takes place, which is going to take care of the memory allocation, the security aspects of each and every program. And once everything goes correctly, the desired output for the given set of input you are going to get. So this is Java virtual machine. At your level, the functioning or the complete architecture is not there of JVM. So this is the quick introduction to JVM. You just need to remember that before you get an output, the every byte code will be checked for the security purpose, and it will be interpreted, and finally you will be getting the output. So these are the two terminologies which you will be requiring for executing any single Java program, that is Java runtime environment and Java development kit. So it is a part of your Java virtual machine, JDK, that is Java development kit, and Java C is a compiler. So even if you are executing the program on the command prompt, Java C is the compiler. And if you are using IDE like Eclipse editor, then the Java compiler is required. So now we'll start with the actual programming concepts with respect to Java. Every programming language has the specific data types. Now, what does mean by data type? It is nothing but the type of data. Let me check. Is my screen visible to you all? Data types in Java. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if you find any difficulty or any problem, just let me know in between. Okay, so the Java data types are basically divided into two different types or two different categories, that is primitive data type and non-primitive data types. So some of the data types which are similar to C++ programming language. So primitive data types are the data types like Boolean and numeric. Boolean means the data can be represented only in terms of 0 or 1. Numeric, it is again divided into two different types of character, where a variable, if you declare as a character, any alphabet from the alphabet series A to Z, either it is small or capital, can be assigned to a variable. So if I declare a variable as char ch, to this ch, I can write, if I write char ch, if I declare this way, then to this ch, in single quotes, I can assign any alphabet, but at a time only single alphabet from the alphabet series A to Z. So if I write anything in single quote other than alphabet, it takes its ASCII value. So if I write ch equal to in single quote 9, where 9 is a digit, so the ASCII value of this digit 9 will be assigned to a variable ch, and that will be stored into the memory location. So this is character data type. Integral, it is again further divided into integer type and the floating point. Integer, the short int, long int, and byte. So these are the different data types which comes under the category of integer, floating point, float data type, and double data type. So these four types in integer data type and these two data types in floating point, it is basically based on how many number of values at a time you can store, or the range of values which you can store into the data, into a particular variable. And non-primitive data types are the data types which are not standard, they are derived from the existing primitive data types. So strings, arrays, objects, these are the non-primitive data types. So let's begin with the very simple program. That is, if I want to print hello world onto the console window, how you are going to go for that? So directly through the editor, I will show you this. So this is the Eclipse IDE which I'm using for writing the Java program. So on the same I will be giving the demonstration. So is this screen visible to you all, the Eclipse editor? Hello. Is this Eclipse editor is visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll see the how to create a project and how to execute the program. So instead of showing just PPT, we'll see how it can be executed. So just a second, let me. So you just need to go to the file, new menu, and over here you can see the number of options. A Java project, and if you go for project, then there can be a different types of project which you are able to see. Either you need to go for EJB application, Java enterprise application, or many more, web application, and so on. But at the second year level, we are developing a simple Java project. So you will go to this particular point, project, right? So once you click on this, you will get the project name. So here we'll give the project name as expert demo, let's say. Kindly mute you, everybody. I'm not able to. Okay, so this is the project name. Now, over here, you are not, once you configure this IDE on your machine, it is not required to write or not required to check anything over here. Just need to click next over here. Then by default, in the bin folder of the project, your project will be saved. Then you just need to click on finish and if you want to create a modular program, then you need to say create, otherwise don't create. So here, as we are looking at the very simple program, so don't create the module, right? So here in this project explorer, the expert underscore demo is the project which is being created, right? Now under this, we are supposed to create a class, and then we need to type the hello world statement. So here you just need to right click new and create class. So class will be created which shows different options, right? So this is the source folder. By default over here, your Java file will be stored. There is a concept of package. In the upcoming slides, we will see what is mean by packages. So time being, we will leave this as it is, which takes the package as a default package. Now, this is our initial class name. So suppose the class name is demo. By default, the class is public. So we will let this class as a public itself. Then for any single class which you are going to create as a part of Java program, it going to reside into the superclass java.lang.object. So this will come automatically. Now whether in this class you want to add the main method or not. So if I want to add the main method, then you need to check this checkbox so that the main method will automatically appear over here. Are you all able to see this? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is this visible now? This font is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now here, all of you all are second year students? Just let me check. All of you are all second year students?
Yes.
Okay. So in using, so everybody knows at least how to print any single message onto the screen using C++? Can anybody tell me? How do we print any message onto the screen using C++?
By using cout.
Cout, right. So by using cout, you can print the message onto the screen using C++. If you go for C programming language, then printf is the inbuilt function which is used to print the string. Using Python, in first year you have seen Python. So print is the function which is used to print the string onto the screen. So likewise, in case of Java, the function or the statement which is used to write to print the screen, the value onto the screen by using system.out.println. Print. So print in bracket, you are supposed to write in double quotes the string whichever you want to print, right? So this IDE, so by using this, by using this single line, you are able to print this string which is provided as a parameter onto the string, and you will get the output on the console window. Okay, so here as you can see, the output is over here. Hello all. So this is the very first program. Whenever you start studying any programming language, you are able to see, right? So this is our program where every class or the class in which your main method is included, it has to be a public class. Okay, because by using this public class, the JVM is going to call the main method. So this is the minimum, or this is the minimum set of statements you are supposed to write whenever you want to print the hello world, this particular string onto the screen. Now we'll go into the details what is mean by each of these keywords. So if you know each of these keywords, then it will be easy for you to write any type of application or any type of code. So let's begin with what is the meaning of each of these line. So system with capital S dot out dot print or println in bracket hello world we have written. So system, it is the name, it is nothing but the name of standard class which is used to contain the objects which represents the standard input output devices which are connected to your system, to your computer, right? So the system represents the set of standard input output devices. So through keyboard we can give an input. So keyboard is your standard input device. Through monitor we are able to see the output. So that's why it is called as a standard output device. So the system is nothing but the class, right? Then out is nothing but an object which is going to represent the standard output screen. Now where we are able to see our output? On the console window, and this console window is nothing but the command prompt. So that is why the name is given as out. And if you are taking the input, then by using system.in. And println, this is the method which is used to pass the string whichever you have given as a parameter to this console output window. Okay. Are you all getting what I'm trying to say? Understood the meaning of each and every statement, whichever I have written over here?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, shall I proceed? Shall I move ahead? Okay. So by using this system.out.println, I will be able to print either the string value or the integer, character, or whichever may be the type of data I will be able to print. But what if I want to take the value from the user? So in case of C++, by using the object of iStream class, that is cin, we were taking the value from the user. Similarly, in case of Java programming language, there are two different ways by which you can take the input from the user, from the command prompt or from the console window. One is by making use of inbuilt scanner class, and the other one is by making use of buffered reader class. So we'll see one by one. So how to make use of scanner class? Scanner, the object name, this object is user defined name. Here you can give any arbitrary name, obj, a1, input, anything, equal to new is a keyword which is going to allocate the memory for this object so that the data can be taken from the standard input device and it will be stored into the respective data type. So either it can be an integer or it can be a float, character, or any type of data. Okay. Now from where we are going to take the input? From standard input device which is connected to your system. So how it is represented? It is represented by using system.in. Previously on the previous slide, we have seen system.out, where out represents the standard output device, or the standard output device we can refer by using out as an object. Here I want to take the input from the user. So input from the user can be taken by the standard input device, and which is represented by using in. And where this standard input device is present, it can be referred by using, or it will be referred by using a standard class which is called as a system. Is this clear? By system.in? Hello? Have you all understood what is why we have written system.in? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how you can create an object of a standard input device, where by using this object you can take multiple type of data, right? So if I want to take integer data, then the method which is provided in Java is nextInt. If I want to take the data float, then next float. And if you want to take the string type of data, then next line, right? So we'll see how it can be taken. See, suppose, just a sec. Yeah, so this is an example. If I want to take the integer data from the user, is this slide visible where I have taken the snapshot of the program?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, integer no1. So here the variable declaration will be similar to C++, integer no1. So this no1 is going to represent the type of data of type integer. Here I have declared an object of a scanner class. So this input is an object of a scanner class in which the value we are going to take from the user and will be stored into this input. So this value which we have taken from the standard keyboard, that will be stored into the input variable. We need to store into a variable which we have declared as an integer, right? So here we'll say system.out.println. How we can check whether the value is really getting stored? Just print that value. So scanner input, you will create an object, and by using next int method, the value will be, the integer value will be taken from the user and will be stored into the variable. So this line is similar to your this line in case of C++. In case of C++, how you take the value? It is C in the insertion operator no1. In case of Java, it will be input dot next int. In case of C++, it is C in and insertion operator, where you are going to store the value in no1. Here, where you are going to store the value in no1, right? Just the way or interpretation is different. The value we are taking from the user is the same. Is this okay? Understood?
Yes.
Scanner, how to take the scanner input? Input for using the scanner class. Okay, so having understood this, The other way is by using buffered reader input. In case of buffered reader input, everything whatever you take from the standard input device is treated as a string. And even if you take the integer or the float values, they are treated as a string. So in case of buffered reader, you need to typecast those values by using the different methods. So if I take the value from the user as an integer, but it is internally represented as a string, so you need to typecast it. So already you people are knowing what is mean by typecasting. If the R value of a particular expression is integer, and if the L value of a particular expression is float, then you need to explicitly convert that integer to float. That is what is mean by typecasting is. So similar thing we are going to do over here. So parseInt, we have taken the values from the user that is in the form of string that we need to convert into integer. So here integer is an inbuilt class, and the method that is parseInt is the method which is going to actually convert the value which is there in this object in and will be stored into the variable no1. So the difference between scanner input and buffered reader input is that in case of scanner input, the explicit members or explicit functions are available for taking the integer data, float, character, or string data. But in case of buffered reader, everything will be in terms of string, and you need to typecast it to a particular value. So if I want to take the float value, then float dot parse float in bracket in dot readline. That kind of conversion will be required. So this is about the buffered reader. One more example I have given, wherein suppose I want to perform the addition of two numbers where the inputs we are taking using buffered reader. So the class we have declared over here, then value will be taken into A and B variables respectively. Then it will be added and the result will be displayed by using system.out.println. Very simple. Similarly, by using scanner input, the same thing. Here integer.parseInt is required, and here the inbuilt methods which are supported by this standard input is present. So in.nextInt will be stored into x and y variable, and this result will be displayed onto the console window. Okay, so already the difference I have told, so we will move ahead. Different data types we have seen. In case of Java variables, the variables is used to store the value of any data type, or we can say a variable is nothing but an abstraction of a memory location where the actual values are stored. So in memory somewhere, this X is allocated with a block of memory where your actual value will be stored. Let's say that is 55 in this case. So if I say F, so F is nothing but an abstraction of a memory area where 0.300 in terms of floating point number it will be stored. Similarly for character and for string. So this int double character, these are the primitive data types for which these are the variables which are declared, and string is a non-primitive data type. Now the thing is that while giving while declaring the variable, you need to take care that while you should not give any space in between while declaring any variable name. The variable should not have any special symbol other than underscore, and the variable should not start with a number. So here I cannot say 1xyz is my variable name, but if you write _1xyz, then this is a valid variable name. I cannot say xy space z is a single variable name, because space is also a special type of symbol. So these rules you need to remember. Constant. The constants are the values which are not going to change throughout the program. So how the constants can be declared? in Java by using a keyword final. So final double pi, if I declare like this, then pi is the variable which is not going to change, or the value of this variable is not going to change till you terminate the program. So which is applicable for each and every type of variable. Then Java expressions, by using different types of by making use of different operators, the Java expressions are basically divided into arithmetic, bitwise or bit level, relational, logical, and string related operations or the expressions. So arithmetic expressions are same as that of the C++ expressions, wherein you can perform the addition of two variables, subtraction of two variables, division, multiplication, and mod operation. Where division operation gives the quotient of the division of two numbers, where modulo operation gives the remainder of division of two numbers. Meaning A divided by gives you the quotient, and A divided by B gives you the remainder. So the sum of the expressions, let's say this is the example by using arithmetic operators. Any doubt till this using arithmetic operators?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Shall we proceed? Okay. So the arithmetic operators can be written by using the shorthand operators or by making use of shorthand notation. So if I want to make use of plus equal to, minus equal to, multiplication equal to, or division equal to, you can write it like this: x plus equal to 5. So this is same as x equal to x plus 5. So this is called as a shorthand notation of using different arithmetic operators, where this x represents the L value, this x represents the R value, which is going to represent the value which is there in the invariable x, and this x represents the L value where it represents the memory location. Now what does this mean? If I say x is equal to x plus 5, internally x is a part of some memory location. Let's say initially x is equal to 12. So before executing this particular statement, in this memory block, x value is 12. So here x will be considered as a value for this particular variable. So 12 plus 5, this result will be calculated and will be stored at the location for this variable x. This 12 will be replaced by 17. So whatever to the right hand side of the assignment operator is called as a R value, because it is present to the right hand side of the assignment operator, and whatever is present to the left hand side of the assignment operator is called as a L value, right? And generally to the at the L value location, the variables are present. You have never come across like this kind of expression 5 is equal to x, which is in case of programming language I am saying. So you cannot assign a variable to a constant, but vice versa is true. This is a syntactical error in case of programming language. So you need to remember L value is always a variable, wherein R value can be a variable, it can be a constant, or it can be an expression. Now, what does this mean? I can write A equal to 2 also. I can write A equal to B also. Or I can write A equal to B plus C. So this is constant assignment to a variable. This is variable assignment to a variable. And this is the result of expression which has been calculated and will be assigned to a variable. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, the way we are having binary operator. Now, up till now, these operators which we have seen, plus, minus, multiplication, division, all these are the binary operator. What does mean by binary operator? Can anybody tell me? Anyone? Binary operator, the operators which we have seen, plus, minus, multiplication, these are the operators which works on at least two variables, two values. So in order to work this plus operator, you will require at least two operands, a plus b or a minus b. Only if I say a minus or a plus, then you will get an error, a compiler error, right? So binary meaning at least two operands need to be given in order to get the correct output. Unary operator, only single operand is required. The examples are unary minus operator, increment operator, that is plus plus, and the decrement operator, that is minus minus. Okay. So these are the examples of unary operator which is present in Java. So the increment and decrement operators are pre and post increment. So if you write the operator to the right hand side of any variable, then it is called as a post increment or post decrement operator. And if you write before a variable, then it becomes the pre increment or pre decrement operator. Okay. So you can observe the output of this here. The two variables are initialized to the same value 12 to the variables x and y respectively. So if I say x plus plus, the value will be printed first and then it will be incremented, and the incremented value will be used in the next executable statement. So here, even if I say x plus plus, it will be printed, it will get printed as a 12, and then it will be given to the next variable or for the next execution. So the 12 is printed, then it will be incremented to 13. And next, if you try to execute or try to print, you will get output as a 13. Where in case of pre-increment, value will be incremented and then it will be printed. So previously it was 12, it has become 13. The same value has printed, and obviously this y will be printed as 13. So this is the difference between post increment and pre-increment, and both are unary operators. So for this operator, as you can see, a single variable is present, namely x and y. Boolean value, that is, it is going to give the result in terms of true value or the false value. Either it is 0 or 1, that is true or false. So if I say x less than 0, if it is true, it is going to print it as a true, or it is going to print it as a false. So only two values are possible using Boolean operators, that is true or false. So how it can be represented? By using Boolean as a data type. So if you declare any variable as a Boolean data type, then the value which will be stored is true or false. So at the most, only two values are possible. Then relational expressions. So if you want to combine multiple expressions, the expressions can be by making use of different arithmetic operators. The relational operators are used, and if the relational operators are used in a particular expression, then it is called as a relational expressions. So which are those? Generally, these expressions are checking for the equality, or whether the value is lesser, greater, or equal or not equal. So the operators are double equal to, or if you write assignment operator back to back, then it is for equality. Sorry. So if you want to check whether the two values are similar, then equivalent, that is double equal to, is used. For non-equality, exclamation mark and assignment operator. So it is non-equality. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. And if you use these relational operators, for finding out the result, it is always going to return you the Boolean value, true or false. So let's take an example. So the two variables we have taken 12 and 32 for X and Y. So if I try to put, or if I try to print the result for checking whether which value is lesser or a greater, then according to the operator which we have used, X less than Y, so 12 is 30 less than 33, so it is going to print value as a true. And for non-equality, let's say X not equal to Y minus 21, so it has printed false. So this is how you can use the relational expressions by you making use of different relational operators. Then the bit level operators, which are represented in terms of zeros and ones. So the bit level operators are logical and, logical or, not operator. So similar, if you want to combine the value of the expressions for condition checking or to evaluate the set of expressions, then the logical operators are used. So that is logical and logical or. Similar, it is similar to C++. String operations. String is one of the non-primitive data type which is used to initialize the set of characters to a particular variable. So here, so by using a variable of the string class, the value can be assigned. So if I say string S1, then whatever you give in double quotes, that will be assigned to a variable S1. So if I say string S1 equal to hello in double quotes plus world, then this plus operator over here will be used to combine these two strings. And this plus operator, which is called as a concatenation operator in case of C++, in case of strings in Java. In case of your normal integer and float data type, it is used for addition of two numbers. But in case of string, the plus operator is used for combining the two values or appending the two strings one after the other. So as you can see, the messages you can combine together to display the customized string or the customized message. So here, this S1 consists of hello world, which has been printed as an output. And here the value of these variables are displayed by combining the messages in the double quotes and the value as a plain variable name. So this is nothing but string, the string operators we will see in the next subsequent slides. So if I want to check the strings are equal or not, then you will create the two strings and you will assign the values to these two strings by just assigning the values by using assignment operator. And the string class is having its own method, inbuilt method, which is called as a dot equals, which is going to check whether the two strings are equal or not. If the two strings are equal, then it is going to return true. Otherwise, it is going to return a false value. So if I say S1 and S2 both are initialized to hello, and if you call equals method on these two operands, then it is going to return you true value. And for this particular input, S1 dot equals high, where S1 is hello and the explicit value which you have provided as high, so it is going to return you a false value. So this is going to check whether the two values are equal or not. It is not going to return you whether which string is greater or which is shorter, right? So just for checking the equality, you can go for equals. The logical operator, double and. If the two expressions are going to evaluate to true, then it is going to return true. Otherwise, it is going to return false. Logical OR operator, if an expression, if one of the expression is true, then it is going to return true. And this NOT is to simply negate the value of an expression. So let's say if A, B, this is one of the expressions, and A minus B is the another expression. And if you want to check whether this is true or not, or if you want to execute the some set of statements, so what you will do, you will check using logical AND operator. So if the result of this is true and if the result of this is also true, then it is going to evaluate this as a true. If you write logical OR operator, if any one of the expressions is true, it is going to be true. And if you want to just complement the value of any of the expressions, then just put NOT operator before any expression or before any variable name. Okay. So this is about the logical operator, and this logical operator is going to be evaluated only on the Boolean expressions. And obviously it is going to give a result in the Boolean form, either true or false. Bitwise operator, which are going to operate on by using the operator AND, OR, NOT, left shift, right shift, and shift with a 0. So if you want to compare, if you want to perform the logical AND operator on the bitwise input data, you can go for these operators. But generally, for developing an application, the previous operators which we have seen that is used for the assembly level language programming, for the memory comparison, these bitwise operators are used. Okay, so this variables we have seen, data types, naming conventions we have seen. Memory representation of a string in Java is like this. As this is a non-primitive data type, using the standard class string, the string data can be assigned to a string variable, which is a string object, that is S. And in the heap memory, it is represented something like this. So string is a reference variable. To this, it is going to be referenced as ABC, right? ABCD. So this is the, in case of Java, as S is an object of a particular class, the dynamic memory which is represented as a heap, which has been stored or which has been allocated to an object which is named as S. That's why I have given here the name as a heap memory. Okay. Now, you can assign one value, one string variable to another string variable like this. So if I say string S2 equal to S, then the S value, the variable S and the variable S2 is going to refer to the same memory location. Unlike C++. In case of C++, or in case of another data types, let's say if I say integer A equal to B, and let's say B is having value 2 in memory, B is having some different memory location, A is having some different memory location, and A is having value 2 as well as B is having value 2. But in case of string, if you write like this, it is going to refer to the same memory location. And this is called as a object aliasing. Aliasing means what? Giving just the different name to the same memory location. So are you able to differentiate between the assignment of the value using variable with respect to the primitive data types and non-primitive data type, that is string? Are you able to observe the difference? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So the concatenation operator, that is if I want to combine two strings, then the inbuilt function which is called as a concat which is used. So if I say s dot concat ef, then wherever s was pointing from there, the reference will be deleted and it is going to point to the altogether different memory location with the added value. So previously it was pointing to A, B, C, D. Now once I call s dot concat ef, then the previous content, after previous content, the new content E and F are added, and now S is going to point to the different memory location than that of the previous memory location. This is called as a string concatenation. In Java, the string is immutable. Now, what does mean by immutable? Unless and until you are not going to assign the changed value to the variable, it is not going to change its own value. Now, let's have a look at this particular example. Here, what I have done is I have created one variable with the initial value as SE. And the same value we have printed over here, as you can see, SE. Now, after that, what we have done, S1 dot concat comp. So after SE, ideally S1 comp should be added, right? But what output we are getting? We are getting only SE. Why? Because once the memory is allocated for a particular string in Java, unless and until it is not reassigned by using assignment operator, the memory reference is not going to be changed. That's why the Java strings are immutable. And this is one of the important properties of Java string, which is used in networking while implementing the inter-process communication or socket programming. So if you want to pass an address of a particular remote machine, and if you want to give the data to a particular machine, the addresses need to be, or the destination addresses need to be given as a part of socket. And in between, let's say if you don't want the addresses to be changed, then the Java strings, this immutable properties of Java string is used, right? So this you can remember why in case of Java socket, in case of socket programming, generally these Java strings are used or implemented. So how the concatenated values we are going to get, you need to reassign that. So if I say S1 is equal to S1 dot concat, then you will get output as SE comp. But the thing is, where S1 was previously pointed, that memory will be dereferenced and the new memory will be assigned to the new value, that is SE comp. Meaning the diagram which I have shown over here. S1 was previously pointing to the value SE. After adding SE comp, altogether different memory location it is going to get, and this link will be disconnected, and as your S1 is going to point to this memory location, and this dereference part will be automatically given to the free memory pool of heap memory by automatic garbage collection. So this is immutable property. Then if I want to find out the length of a particular string, then the inbuilt function length is used. How do we call it? By using an object of a string class, that is s.length. It is going to return the number of characters which are present in the string. So if I say L equal to s.length, where L is an integer variable, it is going to print the number of characters. So your output will be 4. If you want to print a particular character at a location, then the function, the inbuilt function is char at. So if I want to print, let's say the value which is present at number 2, that is, this is the index 2. So ideally it is going to print the third character, because the index number starts from 0 in case of Java also. So it is going to print the value which is present at third location, but the index value 2. This is char at. There is a provision of converting the values from uppercase to lowercase, from lowercase to uppercase. So the inbuilt functions are to uppercase. It will be if you give the input as Java, which is in small letters. So by using this string, if you give a call to uppercase, then this input will be converted into, or the case of this input will be converted into uppercase. Similarly, lowercase, the string will be converted into lowercase. If you want to check whether the strings are equal, then dot equals is used. This is going to check only for the equality. Now, how it is going to check whether it is equal or not? First of all, it is going to calculate the length of two strings. If the lengths are not equal, directly it is going to print false. Then only, and if the lengths are equal, then and then only it is going to check for equality. But the thing is, it is going to check whether equal or not equal, but it is not going to return whether which string is greater or lesser. Equals ignore case, meaning irrespective of whether the string is in the lower case or in the upper case, it is going to check the check for equality. So if I say s1 dot equals ignore case s2, it is going to ignore the case and it is going to print the result, either true or false. Compared to equals represents or equal returns only whether the strings are equal or not. But if you want to print whether whether which string is greater than the other string, then the compare to can be used. Compare to ignore case. So here, whether the string is greater or lesser, by ignoring the cases, it is going to return the result. If you want to find out the substring or the part of the string from one index location to other index location, then the inbuilt function, which is called as a substring, is used. So here is an example. Let's say string s is equal to Java is a programming language. And if I want to extract a part starting from index number 8 to 12, then how the function will be called? S dot substring 8, 12. So starting from index number 8 till 12, the value will be written. And if you want only the value from, if you want to give only the starting index till the end of the string, then the other variation of this substring is only a starting index you will give, and the end index till end index, all the characters will be fetched and those will be printed. So these are the two variations of substring. Index of, if you want to find out the index of any substring, then the index of function is used. So here, as you can see, an example, s dot index of programming. So if you want to check what is the index of this particular word in a given sentence, then it will be called like s dot index of programming. So which index it will give? It will give the index of first character of this particular word. So here the index of this P it is going to give. So it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. It is 8. So it is going to give you the value as 8. Last index of, if you just want to retrieve the last index where the character is present, then the inbuilt function is last index of. So this last index plus 1 can be or you can say the last index plus 1 will be the length of a given string. So this is the alternative to find the length of a given string also. So last index, it is going to give. So wherever E is stored, that index value it is going to give. Now, if you want to remove the extra spaces, suppose you have taken as an input, then the inbuilt function which is called as a trim. So this function will be called by passing or by calling this function using an object. So s dot trim is going to remove the extra spaces before and after and in between, leaving one space as it is. So it is going to give that, it is going to return the string. If you want to split a particular string using some special symbol, then the split operator is used. The split function is used. Let's say I want to separate out the mail ID and the domain name. So @ is your separator or the split operator. Then how you can do this? S dot split in bracket @. So by using this, the input string will be divided into two different substrings. One is contact and other is the domain name. So where these strings will be stored, there has to be some location, and that location is nothing but array of strings. So the same thing I have displayed over, I have written over here. So string array equal to S1. So contact will be stored in S1 of 0, and the next domain name will be stored at S1 of 1. And how you can cross check it? By using any loop. So if I say system.out.println S1 of I using for loop, you will be able to display this particular output. So this is what is meant by split is. Now over here, one of the ways of implementing, or one of the ways of representing the for loop I have used, that is for each loop. Even though it is called as a for each loop, each word is not present in the loop. The keyword which is used is for only, but the way of representation is different. So the data type, the iterator name or the index variable name, double colon, and collection. So this collection is nothing but an array from which you want to extract the values. So here what I want to do is, from S1 array, I want to print the value C. So the data type should be, you should mention over here as that of the data type of an array or the container class, not integer. Integer I colon S1. This will not do. The type of data which you are going to store in this array, that data type you need to mention over here. So you need to differentiate between for loop and for each loop. So same thing, if I want to display using our normal for loop, it will be like this: I equal to 0, I less than, let's say n, where n is the number of strings, I plus plus. And if system.out.println, you need to write S1 of I. So this is by using our normal for loop, where I is an integer, and in case of for loop, this string C data type should be the data type of the object which are going to hold the values after this split. So this is the basic difference between for and for each loop. And one more difference between for and for each loop is, for loop, the initialization value can be from 0 or can be from some greater or from some maximum value. And in case of for each loop, always it is in the forward direction. Always the value is auto incremented. So here you are not able to see C++ or C minus. So this is the difference. If you want to print from some minimum to some maximum value, then this for each loop is used. One more example for integer, let's say. So suppose this is the variable, this is an array which is used to store all integer type of data. Then by using for each loop, you can iterate through this array, and you can find the addition of each and every every element and will be accumulated into the variable sum. So this is an example of for each loop. So these are sufficient operations as far as the array and different data types are concerned. So this was the part of this particular topic. If you have any questions regarding this, let me know. Do you want me to tell anything with respect to data types? How to write a class, how to declare a class, that I have shown over here. So if I want to write one more class, then how you can write the class over here? I can write class. Let's say I want to write a student class. Then directly you can write a class. You can declare the variables. Let's say if I want to declare a variable of type integer, then you will say integer roll number. If I want to declare a variable where I want to store the name of the variable, then you will declare that variable as a string. If I want to store the marks or the average of the marks, then you will declare the variable as a average. By default, the access specifier for the class is default. So default is the access specifier which is present in Java. And by using different access specifier, the visibility modifier. So this is in case of the in case of Java, the visibility modifier which is added is called as a default modifier. And the default modifier in case of Java is default. The name itself is default. And the rest three are already known to you. Public is visible inside the class, outside the class, within the package. Protected inside the class, outside the class, and in the subclass if it is inherited. And private is accessible only within the class. So the most restricted is a private class, right? And in case of Java, there is one more concept or one more important concept. This I will take and will stop. So I know I have taken 10 to 15 minutes extra, but please bear with me just for next 5 minutes. This is one of the important topics which has been introduced in Java programming language, that is package. So if you want to combine the different classes as a part of one group or as a part of a container, then the concept of packages are used. At the time of writing the program also, I have told the default package is provided by the IDE. Otherwise, you can create your own package also. So package is nothing but the group of related types, can be a class or can be an interface. So if the access modifier is private, if you declare any variable as a private, and let's say class C1, C2, C3, C4, these are the classes, wherein C1, C3 are in the one package, C2 and C4 are in the other package. Where this private is visible, it is visible only within the class. If the access modifier is default, then the variable X is accessible in the class where it is declared and in the other class, but in the same package. As you can see the boundary of this circle. And if the access modifier is protected, if you declare the variable as a protected, then it is visible within the class where it is declared, outside the class, in the other class, in the same package, outside the class, in the other class, in the other package, if it is inherited. And if the access modifier is public, it is accessible anywhere. So the public access specifier is the least restricted. So unless and until it is very much required, you should not declare a variable as a public. So these are the different access modifiers which you can write using Java. So if you don't write anything, it is default. And otherwise, you need to write this way. Public, you need to write private, and you need to write protected like this. Protected, let's say string contact. Your contact number or contact address. So this is how you can declare the different variables. So this visibility is default. This is public, private, and protected. And even if you write default, it is okay. So it is alternatively. Okay. So this is what about the today's lecture. If you are having any doubts, please let me know. Hello.
Yes, all participants, if you have any question, you can ask to madam. All the students, if you have any question which is related to your subject also. So Java is required in many of practicals. So if you have any doubts, you can ask to madam. Otherwise, we will conclude our today's session.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Java doesn't have a pointer. Is a drawback or advantages?
Basically the pointers are required for the direct memory access. If you want to access the memory directly, then the pointer concept is used. So if you want to go for pointer access, then the other alternative, which is the object oriented approach, C++ is present. And if you want to go for web application development where the direct memory is not required, then you can go for Java. So you cannot say it is an advantage or it is a disadvantage.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other doubt?
Okay. So I think if you have any doubts, you can on the screen there is a mail ID. So you can mail to the madam also. Also check the whatever details madam given to you. So once again, thank you all of you, and especially thanks to Archana madam for giving a valuable time to our students, because the knowledge is more important, mm, which is real time using for the project development and all. So I heartily thank on behalf of Samartha Group of Institution to Archana madam. Also, I thank you to Girish Novle sir, and I also thank to all participants who have joined and listened very sincerely. Also, thank you to our principal sir, Dr. A.J. Patil sir, Administrative Officer Gadekar sir, HOD of ENTC, and all my supporting staff, which is helped to conduct this webinar successfully. And last but not least, you all are participants. You do the whatever madam given the concept, you do practically and perform some practical. If you have any doubts, you can contact to our any staffs, and we will in future we will also schedule the remaining part in the next webinar. So once again, thank you all. So we will
Yes.
stop here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me.